Alright, but today we are playing Stories from Seoul the Gun-Dog, which is, as I understand it, something of a sci-fi adventure game, visual novel type thing, taking place in kind of 1980s sci-fi, basically, which is really kind of a sci-fi genre all its own these days. Because, like, these days you make a sci-fi thing that's just straight up sci-fi, and it's all about, like, ooh, the AIs and computers and technology and stuff. Now, 80s sci-fi is all about, like, for some reason you still don't have a mobile phone, but we can colonize the galaxy. Which is a very... It's funny, because, like, it's a very interesting aesthetic. I do like the aesthetic, but it's something that's just so obviously absurdly unrealistic these days. Which I guess all sci-fi is kind of destined to become eventually, even if it was at one point very grounded. Just because... you know, the blind spots in your creative process of, you know, maybe you just completely missed the idea of, you know, communications systems, despite the fact that walkie-talkies already existed. But anyway, that's beside the point. Let's just get into this. I haven't played this game before. It just came out today, and I'm very excited to see what we're in for. September 21st, Planetary Calendar 209. Following a raft of oppressive policies and crackdowns from the Earth-based government of the Solar Federation, the joint forces of the Martian territories and the Jovian Unified Colony Fleet rebelled. This conflict came to be known as the Solar War. So, to be clear, in case you're not super space knowledgeable, the Jovian Unified Colony Fleet would presumably be a system of colonies on Jupiter's moons, because the Jovian system is Jupiter's moons. Obviously, Martian territory, Mars. Solar Federation is presumably whatever governing body rules over the entire solar system, presumably based on the Earth-based government of the Solar Federation. So basically, we have a war seemingly of independence, a rebellion, where the Martian colony and the colonies on Jupiter's moons are rebelling against, Earth, basically, seems to be what's going on in the Solar War. The war carried on for 3 years, but eventually the combined forces of the Martian territories and Jovian Unified Colony Fleet managed to push the Federation military all the way back to planet Earth. In the final days of the conflict, a pitched battle was fought in lunar orbit that would decide the war's victor. Lunar orbit. Aboard the Jovian carrier, JFS. So that's K-A-L, then a Y, Kalik. Aboard the Jovian character JFS Kalik. And I also like this sort of time period of sci-fi, like the kind of solar colonization, before you could, jumping star systems, this idea of colonizing various parts of the solar system. It's just an aesthetic that I find very pleasing, honestly. I guess it's close enough to be, like, relatable. By the time you've got an empire spanning the galaxy, like you got like the Federation in Star Trek or something, it's just, at that point it's so out there, it almost doesn't feel like it's kind of rooted in reality, whereas when you got calls of like, oh, that's Mars, and we got things going on in Jupiter's moons, like that's, I vibe with that, I guess is what the kids would say. You reflexively tighten your grip on your armored frame's twin flight sticks, as another wave of vibrations reverberates through the cockpit. The creak of your new flight suit and your quickening breath are the only sounds that you hear above the gentle hum of the frame's subsystems. As you squeeze the controls tighter, their plastic casings creak under the pressure. You try and stay calm, knowing that these gentle vibrations are remnants of huge shock waves that are buffeting the Kalik, the carrier that you're stationed on. Each one is a near miss as an explosion tears through the space around the ship. You try to push the thought from your mind and focus on controlling your breathing, but you've already realized that their frequency means the Kalik must be approaching the front lines. Your squadron will be launching soon, and you'll be engaging in your first real sortie. Your first real flight, in fact. You feel your throat tighten. Simulations are as good as the real thing. That's what your trainer told all of you. But you know that pilots are supposed to have hundreds of hours of live flights and training exercises in real armored frames before they're allowed anywhere near the front lines. Of course, that didn't happen. Command had told you that the modern simulators meant cadets could graduate without the need of these exercises. You'd overheard the rumors, though. The Jovian colony fleet had lost a lot of pilots, and still wanting to keep pace with the Martian advance against Earth, had resorted to fielding anyone who could fight. Your whole squadron is just like you, freshly conscripted from Europa colony. You'd undergone basic training there, but almost all of your flight training had taken place on the cruiser's journey from Jovian space. You wonder how the others are feeling right now. Whether... Oh, maintenance crew. Calic 5, this is Flight Deck. We're preparing your squad for takeoff, running last-minute diagnostics on your frame, activating all systems. Now... Alright. Looks all good to go. We'll run a few more checks, then we'll have you spaceborne in a few minutes. You ready to show those Terrans who's boss? Damn straight ready to kick some ass, or... I'm a little more cautious, I'd say. Your mind races as you try to think up a response that will convince not just the engineer, but yourself, too, that everything is going to be alright. I'll just have a real quick check of the audio before we continue much further, just to make sure all is well. We're preparing your squad for takeoff, running last-minute diagnostics. That seems fine. Okay. Instead, your mouth dries up, and your heart feels like it's about to burst from your chest. The flight sticks creak more loudly as you squeeze them tighter, as if any moment now you may snap them in half. Hey, pilot! Everything okay in there? Comms green? After taking a few deep breaths, it eventually feels like you have a modicum of control again. You release your grip on the flight sticks and lean back into your chair. This is Calic 5, comms green. Just a bit. Well there, Calic 5, nothing wrong with feeling the jitters. Tell you what, what's your name, pilot? Oh, the name. What name we're going with here? We're not, CMeeCraft is a lame name. I think. We could go with, it could be Doug, maybe. Maybe we're Will. Maybe we are... Jeff, spelled that way. I don't know. Let's be... Maybe Jim. Nah, if we're gonna be Jim, let's be, I don't know, any ideas, chat? Any names you all want to see? It could be Rob. Maybe full-on Roberts. Picking names shouldn't be this difficult. Maybe we're Chase. That seems like a fun, sort of futuristic-ish name, Chase. That'll be around in the... whatever year this is, the 2300s. Okay, Chase, what's your surname? We'll be Craft, of course. Chase Craft. And your pronouns will just be a man. Chase Craft, that right. I'm not sure I want the alliteration. Name and last name. Yeah, it's fine. Chase Craft. Okay, Ensign Craft, first up, take a few deep breaths for me. In and out. Nice and slow. You got it? Okay. You draw in one long, measured breath and hold it. Then release it. Following the engineer's instructions, you repeat this a few more times. After a while, you begin to feel your pulse slow and some of the tension in your body slip away. You still feel on edge, but feel slightly more in control. Alright, there we go. Now listen up, Ensign. You ain't got a thing to worry about out there. Way I've heard it is that all the Terran's best pilots were taken care of between here and Mars. Heck, Martians are the ones who've been leading the charge today, so they're the ones taking all the flack. Propaganda machines selling this as our decisive strike against Earth's last line of defense. But between you and me, it ain't nothing more than a mopping up situation. Buddy of mine in operation said as much in the canteen last night. Besides, you hear a dull ring over the comms and sit bolt upright in your seat, slouching back and exhaling as you realize it's nothing more than the engineer striking the cockpit's armor on your frame. This beauty here is a work of art. Tearing frames ain't got nothing on her. She's all tuned up and ready to go. Probably spent more time with this one than I have with my own kid. So don't you worry. Remember what they taught you in training and leave the rest up to her and you'll come out of this just fine. Despite your startled reaction a moment ago, the engineer's confidence is infectious and starting to rub off on you. You adjust your position in your seat so that you're sat up straight, and the soft hum of the frame system now seems more comforting than ominous. Just a mopping up operation, you think. Martians have done all the work, so we're sitting pretty here in our top-of-the-line frames. Yeah, nothing to worry about. Science and Craft, how you feeling about things now? Well, I mean, we gotta get out there. Might as well do it with some confidence. Feeling good. Ready to go. Yeah, I'm ready to get out there and kick some ass. You declare, channeling your newly tapped well of confidence. That's the spirit, Ensign. Now hang on to that, and we'll have you out of those hangar doors and kicking Terrans around in no time. Left alone with your thoughts, you tune back into the gentle hum of the frame. You watch the seconds tick away on the cockpit clock whilst you wait for the order to launch. The wait seems to drag on and on. You carry out a few last-minute flight checks, but as you'd already completed them when you boarded, nothing has changed. Alright, pilots, listen up. This is Kalik 1. We've been cleared for launch, so be ready for immediate action. All frames will be taking off in designation order. Attack formation. Sound off. Kalik 2 ready. This is Kalik 3, ready. Kalik 4 here, ready to take off. I should probably say something. Kalik 5, confirm your status. Oh, yeah, Kalik 5, standing by. Keep it together, Kalik 5. Kalik 6. Kalik 6 ready. Alright, Kalik Squadron, move out. Oh, we're going. We're moving. Kalik 1 launching. Kalik 2 launching. Kalik 3 launched. Kalik 4 moving out. Oop. Alright. Here we go. Off into space battle. The roll call of your squadron as they depart from the ship and accelerate rapidly towards the combat zone sounds almost like a countdown to you. Once Kalik 4 has declared their launch, you know your time has come. You disengage the restraints and prepare yourself. Kalik 5, launching. You shout as you slam the flight sticks forward for maximum thrust. Kalik 5, aboard launch! Cut thrusters! Kalik 5, aboard launch! Cut thrusters! What? The engineer's instructions barely register in the confusion as you're jerked around the cockpit. Your helmet slamming on the control panel as a brief moment of thrust throws you back into your seat before you're whipped forward again. Warnings flash all over your monitor, and sirens and alerts sound from all over the cockpit. Kalik 5, aboard launch and cut thrusters! It takes a few seconds for you to comprehend the engineer, but once you do, you quickly pull the flight sticks back to their neutral position. The roar of your frame's engines dies, and your cockpit regains its previous stillness. You wince as the metallic taste of blood fills your mouth. Alright, Kalik 5, hang tight for a moment. Your frame's restraints didn't accept the disengage command, so you're still attached to the Kalik. We're going to need to run a diagnostic. Shouldn't take too long. You slump in the cockpit's chair and exhale deeply. Your heart's still pounding 1,000,000 beats per minute, and your lips stinging. You continue to slow your breathing as you listen to the still open communications channel from the maintenance crew as they work to get your frame released. Hey, looks like the restraints disengage command didn't register. Yeah. Unit 5, alright, yeah. Get Unit 6 out, no sense waiting for this one. Okay, start the diagnostic, then reboot if necessary. Calc 6 launching. Oh, there they go. I'm stuck back here, not even in the fights. What do you mean hardware fault? We've checked this 10 times since Mars at least. Who's assigned Unit 5? Oh, Fine. Right, shut down systems and run diagnostics again. I'll just frame out there in the next 5 minutes. Calc 5, we're going to shut down your frame systems for a moment so we can run diagnostics. Stay ready though. We'll have you launching soon. Calc 5, understood. Ready and waiting. Dang. And I was ready. I was raring to go. As your cockpit fades to darkness again, you release the flight sticks and suddenly realize just how long you've been clenching your fists around them. You flex your fingers and roll your shoulders, exhaling again as you begin to hear the muffled sounds of the engineers working on your frame's restraints. Staring at the dead monitor, you slowly begin to smile. This was what you wanted, wasn't it? You'd spent so long worrying out this mission that you'd thrown up twice in the past 24 hours, and now it looks like that was all for nothing. You got what you wanted, and you were safe. As safe as you can be, strapped to the outside of a military carrier in an inactive armored frame, anyway. Your smile widens inadvertently at that thought. Being shot down in an inactive frame, still in its restraints, you'd become a cautionary tale for engineers and pilots throughout the entire Jovian colony fleet. I'd probably get a Wikipedia article for that. Your mind turns quickly to the rest of your squadron. When they returned, you'd be the laughingstock of the entire Calic. Well, it's not like I did something wrong, because it's a mechanical fault. It's like there's only so much you can do about that. That's maintenance's job to take care of. The pilot who'd spent their entire first mission stuck in a dark cockpit. You'd dodge a bullet, but you'd never. This is Calic 6! They've cut off the flight path! There's more! There's a whole squadron of carriers coming from the E-field! Calic 1! They're going to cut you off from the fleet, Calic 6's signal disappearing as you sit bolt upright as you begin pressing buttons trying to activate the cockpit's main monitor so you can see what's going on. However, with your frame systems shut down remotely by the maintenance crew, you can do nothing but sit in the dark, stillness, and listen to events unfold. Calic 6, respond! Calic 6, what's going on? How many carriers are coming in from E-field? Ma'am! Oh, this is a woman. Okay, so the commander's a woman. Good to know. Ma'am! Calic 6's signal has been lost. He's not responding. He's... Hold it together, Calic 4. All units form up defensive formations on me. I said all units. Calic 2, don't break formation. Ma'am, they're firing on us. So many of them. Oh God, ma'am, help! In an instant, your communications channels flooded with cries of terror and panic. You hear your squad mates, your fellow pilots, exclamations of fear as this unexpected enemy force bears down on them. Screams and yelps, wails and howls fill your head as you sit powerless in the dark confines of your cockpits. Hey, who's out there? Engineering, hey! Get me ready, I can help! Get me ready to launch, engineering! They're getting killed out there! I need to go, now! You shout demands to get your frame ready for launch over the channel, but are met with no response. In the dark of the cockpit, with your controls unresponsive, you can't be sure whether the channel is closed or if no one's listening, with all attention turned to receiving the battle-damaged units from your squad. Listen to me! Anyone! Get me out of there! You desperately begin attempting a manual override of your systems, but find that nothing responds to you. The only spark of life that you can glean from your frame is the small diagnostics progress bar, which has been stuck at 2 bars for the last several minutes. like progress bars tend to do, of course. I need to be out there. Anyone! Hey! In one last desperate attempt, you begin hammering on your cockpit walls, hoping to get the attention of the engineers you could hear outside earlier. The entire time, the chaos of the combat out in space is narrated to you in broken fragments of radio chatter. There's 3, 4 on me! I've lost my shield, I can't shake them! They're over there! The line of retreat's totally cut off, we can't get back to the ship! Ma'am, what do we do? What do we do? Stop panicking and form up! 3 and 4 on me! We're going to punch a hole through their formation and... Ma'am! Ma'am, come in! Ma'am, oh god, oh. One by one, your squad's signals disappear, and the cacophony of panic disappears, replaced by the gentle hiss of static. You stop hammering on the side of your cockpit as the last voice is cut off. You're drenched in a cold sweat now, and your empty stomach feels like a rock has sunk to the bottom of it. You lean back and stare blankly ahead. This is Calic 5. Ready for takeoff? September 21st. Planetary calendar 209. Despite last-minute reinforcements from the Solar Federation, from their headquarters on Earth, the Battle above Lunar is a victory for the joint Martian and Jovian forces. This would be the final battle of the Solar War. Having lost their last stronghold on Lunar, the Solar Federation would agree to a ceasefire and sign an armistice to end hostilities. An uneasy peace fills the solar system. With the conflict between the Solar Federation and the Martian-Jovian alliance concluded, the Calic and her crew soon returned to the Europa colony near Jupiter. April 19th. Planetary calendar 214. The reduced needs for pilots away from the delicate space between Earth and Mars saw CMeeCraft reassigned to security detail aboard various Jovian ships. He is eventually promoted to lieutenant. Okay. 4 years have passed since the battle above Lunar. The Jovian colony fleet, fearing fresh aggression from Earth, has increased patrols near its colonies after picking up unusual signals coming from further out in the solar system. The patrol ship, JFS Gun-Dog, is dispatched to support the JFS O'Brien in its investigation of these signals. Jovian space. Aboard the Jovian patrol ship, JFS Gun-Dog, as the rumble of the Gun-Dog's engines roaring to life reverberates through the ship, you clench your fists. It's been 4 years, and to this day, the sensation of tremors, whether they're ship engines, docking clamps, or weapons drills, still ties your stomach into knots. A bad trait for a ship's security officer. You shake your head and exhale slowly, taking a moment before stowing the last of your possessions and pushing the drawer closed. You feel the click as it locks into place, and the exterior plastic paneling sits completely flush with its surroundings. Stepping back, you look around the room. You take another deep breath and hold it for a moment. Although this was far from your first posting as a security officer, you always felt the same sense of trepidation, if not anxiety. As similar as all the ships were, they all came with their own unique crews and personalities, and with those came unique problems. Breathing out, you take a look around the room, taking stock of your surroundings. Select the Look button to examine your surroundings by selecting items of interest. Select it again when you're done. Okay. Ooh, alright. This is fun. So I guess this is my bed. A standard cruise bunk. Once you've slept in one, you've slept in them all. Although this is one of the nicer ones I've been assigned to. The wall panel can be removed by jimmying it with a thin object, and crew members often stash contraband there. Looks like this one's not been touched, though. Good to know. But I mean, I'm in leadership, right? I'm a security officer. I'm in the The org charts. I don't need to store contraband, surely. This lets me control the room's lighting from the bed. I keep my books here, too. I'm currently reading the Tales of the Cosmic Champions series. Okay. Good to see books haven't fallen out of fashion, even in the far future. It's just a normal storage unit. I travel light, so mine only has clothes in it. And my computer. This terminal lets me access the ship's computer. It's got a clock, a word processor, and even a calendar. I can also access records and my orders from here, but for anything else I need to access the core, which is limited to those in operations or command. I see. But I'm only in security. And then there's the door, of course. A standard door with an electronic lock and magnetic bolting system. You'll know in or out, unless you plan on getting creative with maintenance tunnels, of course. Okay, I think that's everything we can examine in the room. Alright. Select the Use button to interact with your surroundings, by selecting specific objects to use them. Select the button again when you're done. Okay. I guess I could read a book. The light switch for the rest of the room is here. Should I use it? Sure. Okay. Maybe I shouldn't have done that. I don't really see the benefit in turning off the lights. Okay, we can use the computer maybe. Oh, it looks like I've been instructed to report to the bridge to meet the captain. I haven't met anyone yet since my transport to the spaceport ran late, and I just about made it on board before launch. Select the Move button to move to a different location from a list of options. If you change your mind, select the button again. Okay, well, is there anything else I might want to use? My storage? There's nothing in here right now that I need. Just my uniform and some toiletries. Okay, let's move then. Crew quarters, corridor 1. Sure. You step out into an empty corridor, and the door to your quarters gently hisses shut behind you. Its keypad gives a short series of beeps, and you hear the lock engage. The dull thrum of the ship's systems is barely audible, but otherwise you are stood in total silence. The air is cooler outside of your quarters, and the corridor has a sterile lack of aroma. This has been the same on every ship you've been stationed on, and at this point it doesn't surprise you. Okay, so this is a Swift-class patrol vessel, which means if I leave this quarters block, I'll be in the foreside thoroughfare. If I go right towards the aft, I'll arrive at the central hub, and then I can head to the bridge. Okay, maybe I ought to look around first. Yeah, it seems you can only look at the doors. Haru Rumni. It doesn't sound familiar. Hansen Cruz? Dalton Grange. Not someone I've met before. Dylan Dees. Can't say I've run into them on any other ship. Okay, so we don't know anyone else on this ship, seemingly. Okay, so I should go to the foreside thoroughfare. You leave the crew block behind you and find yourself in a much larger corridor that stretches off to your left, and with multiple smaller corridors leading from it. To your right, the corridor leads to a large plaza-like space. A very faint breeze coming from your left ruffles your hair and chills you slightly, and you hear the sounds of human activity. From the right, you can hear the hum of the ship's engines more clearly now, as well as the occasional low, quiet whirring sound. Looks like I was right. This portion of the thoroughfare will let me access both sets of crew quarters, the mess hall, the hangar, and the central hub. From there, I can access the rest of the ship's areas. I should hurry up to meet the captain before I look around anywhere else. Okay, anything to look at? There's a hangar. The ship's hangar. Since I'm on security detail, the only time I should be spending there is when I'm carrying out my daily checks. On a larger ship, you'd see people coming and going constantly. So it's eerie how quiet this one is. I might go to, settings real quick. Just increase the text speed slightly. Also, there's, really interesting, so you can go, Game Boy mode and Dojin mode. Which I guess probably only affects the sprites, seemingly. Anyway. What's this? The mess hall. I don't imagine a ship this size has a cook or even a kitchen, so it's probably just a vendmate unit. That's sad. I wonder what could be down that way. Fire control, maybe? Okay, let's move. I'm going to go to the central hub. As you enter the central hub, you hear a low whirring noise, and the engines grow louder. You can see the readouts above one of the elevators change, letting you know someone is using it to travel to another part of the ship. Looking around, you see the entrances to both the fore and the aft side thoroughfares, as well as the corridor to the airlocks. These elevators will take me to the bridge where the captain will be. I shouldn't waste any more time. Okay, I can look. Most of the ship can be accessed from the 2 thoroughfares, but some areas like the bridge are situated on different levels, so need to be accessed by elevator. There should be access for maintenance crawl ways around here somewhere, but those are usually only for emergencies. What's this? That's the foreside thoroughfare, where I've just come from. The crew's quarters, hangar, and mess hall are all down that way. Probably. That way leads to the aft of the ship. I'm not totally familiar with Swift-class ships, but at the least I know that the engine room is that way. Okay, and then this... Yeah, so that's the bridge. Alright, let's move. To the bridge! Knowing that you need to report to the captain, who, at this point of the ship's journey, should be stationed at the bridge, you make your way towards the elevators and press the call button. You step back and watch the indicators above each elevator, waiting for one to arrive. As you wait, your mind begins to wander, and you're caught unaware as you feel something suddenly jab into your back, and a voice from behind you declares, "Hands in the air! Identify yourself!" Your posture stiffens as you snap back to reality, caught completely off guard by the voice behind you. Thoughts race through your mind as you try to figure out what's going on. Could there already be another security detail on board? That shouldn't be possible. As far as you knew, you were the only one unless... I said, hands in the air, punk! You tentatively raise your hands, palms flat and face forwards, as whatever has been thrust into the small of your back is removed slowly, and you hear the person behind you take a step backwards. You exhale and begin to turn around. Lieutenant Craft, security detail, ID S0254 JFS I'm on my way to meet the captain too. Oh, hello? Where you've been expecting a gruff crew member, instead you're met with a bright and cheery officer waving a pen around with a large smile on her face. You're taken aback for a moment, as this isn't just any officer. This is... Cassie! What are you? Chase, I've missed you so much! You big doofus! You should have seen your face when you turned around. You were all... I love the face you make when you think you're in trouble. It's like you think playing the big soldier will get you out of trouble. It's so cute. Lieutenant Commander Cassandra Quinn. You should have known, really. She's always been one for bad jokes and stupid pranks, as long as you've known her. So I think is Lieutenant Commander above or below Lieutenant? I'm not really up to date in my army ranks. But her less than professional attitude and penchant for irresponsibility is the reason why, despite her talents, she's not commanding a ship of her own. So, on a scale of 1 to 10, how good did I get you? You totally thought you were being busted, right? Well, I mean, not busted per se, but it seemed like there was probably at least a clerical error that needed to be cleared up. But if you're being honest, her playful nature is what attracted you to her in the first place. Like, attracted, or just like, she's cool. She's a cool dude. Okay, you've been dating for nearly 2 years now, but a lot of that has been over electronic mail or in letters. Your postings have never lined up until now. How did I not know she was stationed here if we've been dating? Okay. Cassie, what are you doing here? I thought you were stationed on the Reliance. You never said you were being transferred. What happened? Well, the thing about that is, you might say that a disagreement with the head of operations on the Reliance led to a lateral trajectory for my career. Cassandra, please. Okay, so maybe when it came time to change the ship's cybersecurity passwords, I couldn't be bothered to spend all day sitting in the computer core, waiting for it to generate new codes, so I just changed all the existing passwords by a single digit. Cassie, if you change all the passwords by a single digit, Please tell me you at least chose like a random digit and just increment them all by 1. Because if you incremented them all by 1, then guess what? If someone had the passwords before, they have the new passwords now. They just need to add 1. You place your face in your hands as a dull groan rises from the back of your throat. This isn't the first time you've heard a story like this. And maybe it turns out when they run the cybersecurity drills, they assume that the enemy have your old passwords, so try brute forcing from those. Yeah, cybersecurity 101, Cassie. This is why, like, when a website gives you, like, a unique ID or something, it's always supposed to be, like, a randomly generated number or something, and not a sequential one. Because if it's sequential, once you have one code, you have all the codes, because you just plus or minus. And maybe that meant the ship was compromised in half a second. Or 0.5 seconds if you want to be technical about it, which, trust me, they were very technical. But at least they found out I'd done that in a drill and not a real engagement, right? I suppose. I basically saved the entire ship in advance. No, the drill did. The drill saved the ship in advance due to your incompetence, let's be clear. I'm surprised you're still even stationed on a ship. How are you not stuck back in a records room at Europa Colony right now? Well, I probably shouldn't tell you this, but please don't tell me you're a stowaway. If I can't trust you, who can I trust? It turns out this mission was organized at really short notice, and the Gun-Dog was the only ship available. The problem was that they'd been having issues with the crew, so they had to transfer some in short notice. Lucky for me that I'd so recently been made available. That's weird. I'd only just been stationed on the Duke, so I shouldn't have been free to be transferred. Cassandra, is there more? Cassandra? Okay, you figured it out. I may have used one of my contacts from the Academy who works in resources to transfer you over here. Thanks? I mean, it was a little annoying, I guess, to be transferred on such short notice, but, like, also... Thanks? Like, I mean, I don't have a problem with being stationed with you, though. Please do your job competently here, because otherwise, I don't want your lack of professionalism in the workplace to impact our relationship negatively, okay? I'm pretty sure you know every regulation you broke by doing that. What was I supposed to do? Get stationed to some tiny ship heading out to the middle of nowhere with no one I know on the crew? We haven't seen each other in months. Aren't you glad to see me? Of course I'm glad to see you. I've missed you too. You know, it's been a long time. You don't become part of the Reliance Operations Department without some serious talent. I'm not going anywhere. Well, I mean, unless you get... unless your job is fixing the passwords again, I guess. Well, no, you won't make the same mistake twice, but, like, put your all into it, okay? Oh, you said you were on your way to see the captain, right? Have you had a chance to take a look around the ship yet? No, not yet. I was going to... Great, I'll show you around. I've been here for a few days, so I basically know the ship like the back of my hand. Where do you want to go first? I mean, I probably should go to the bridge. I was on my way to see the captain, and I felt the engine start up, so I know we're launching soon, and I thought that I should probably report in as soon as possible. Oh, don't worry about that. I've already logged you on board, so it's just a formality now. Besides, Captain... Bartermuse isn't exactly a stickler for procedure, so we can check out anywhere you want before we head up there. Well, alright. In that case... Great! This is going to be the best tour you've ever been on. By the time it's over, you'll have seen every inch of this ship and met everyone on board. It's been so long since we last saw each other too, we definitely need to take time to stop by my quarters and get reacquainted. You can access every area of the Gun-Dog. Okay, nice. Select the talk button to view a list of who is available to talk to. If you change your mind, select the talk button again. You look around the central hub as Cassandra already begins to make her way to your first destination, waving at you to follow. It might be a small ship, you think, but now would be the perfect opportunity to learn its layout and familiarize yourself with where you'll be spending your current duty. Plus, you admit, it wouldn't hurt to meet all the crew. Better to get to know them sooner rather than later.